As always, this week's preview show is brought to you by Miss Amber Perry with Rodan and Fields.
All right, everybody, welcome in once again to our football preview show live at Sparks Orthopedic and Sports Medicine right here in good old Rainbow City. As always, we have been fortunate enough to have Dr. D'Eric Sparks on, and this week's no different. This week, we're going to talk about an injury that actually last year we've seen several teams around our area suffer from this injury, and some players with multiple feet with this injury. I'm kind of giving it away a little bit. But actually, we noticed last season that there was a certain brand of shoe that everyone was wearing. Didn't catch on to it till after the season was over, but when we went back and looked, it was tracked back to a certain brand of shoe, a certain style of shoe that several teams in this area wore that had this problem. So what I am talking about is turf toe. And we're going to find out exactly what turf toe is and how it occurs. And like Reggie said earlier, he was like, I don't even know what it is exactly.
I just keep hearing about it, you know.
Yeah.
So
without me, I'm getting out of his way once again and turning it over to Dr. D'Eric Sparks for him to do his thing. Go ahead, sir.
All right, so turf toe. First of all, it's an injury that is not nearly as common as some of the other injuries that we've talked about. It's an injury to the great toe, right where that toe meets the foot, and that we call that the metatarsophalangeal joint. Okay. And where that flexibility occurs, a turf toe happens typically in a certain position where you're up on your toes, you've got that toe hyperextended up, okay, and then you get force on the back of your foot like that. So let's say you're running back and you've got your foot in that position, somebody tackles you from behind, and it just causes a hyperextension at that great toe joint. And when it does that, it tears or injures the ligaments on the bottom of that joint, okay? And like most of our other injuries, there's grade 1, 2, and 3. Grade 1 being just a simple sprain, grade 2 being a more slight tearing to the ligaments, and then grade 3 being completely torn. So, but it's an injury that happens in hyperextension. Typically, the injury you're going to see maybe in a region, maybe 3 or 4 kids in a year, maybe one on your local team. So it's not something that is really common, like say ankle sprains or ACLs or some of the other things. It is something that was originally described in about 1976. That's the first time somebody even talked about it, really. Okay, so you all were alive at that time. So that's something that's been described in our lifetime. And it got the name turf toe because they saw a higher incidence of it in people who were playing on those old AstroTurf fields, right? So those fields were like indoor-outdoor carpet on top of concrete, all right? And so that would put a lot more force in that toe when it got loaded, and there was a higher incidence. Now, today's turf fields are a lot more cushiony, a lot softer, more like natural grass, and so the number of injuries that we've seen has gone down with the advent of that type of AstroTurf, okay?
Absolutely.
So the injury itself is one that almost always gets treated without any sort of surgery, that every once in a while somebody will end up having to have surgery or something for it. But typically a grade 1 injury is treated with just rest, ice, anti-inflammatories, and then we use a special insert in that shoe, okay? So it happens because of hyperextension. And we use a turf toe insert that's either made of steel or carbon fiber that prevents the shoe from bending. You know, you were talking about a shoe that last year was making people more prone. It could be, I don't know the shoe, but it could be that shoe had a lot of flexibility, wasn't very stiff in the forefoot, and so it allowed all that force to be transferred to these guys' toes.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and so shoe wear could definitely lead to an increased number of those type of injuries. Probably somebody with a grade 1 injury is maybe a 10-day, 2-week kind of thing. We see it much more frequently in those guys who are ball carriers. So it's much higher in the quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers. We see it in linemen still at times when they're engaged and they're up on the balls of their feet and they get hit from behind.
Right.
So we see it in all positions, but much more common in those positions where we're running the ball and we're getting hit. So about 2 weeks for a grade 1, probably about 4 weeks for a grade 2, and then sometimes the whole season for a grade 3. So, that one you're more in a boot for a while. It takes a lot longer for that thing to heal. So
Painful as well, I'm sure.
it is painful. So, I mean, you lose the ability really to roll through that foot, right? So that big toe is really important for pushing off when you go to run. That's the power that you get. A lot of that is from that big toe pushing off, and they just can't tolerate it.
So we go back to rice. Same principle.
Right,
Yes.
we go back to that. Yeah, we want to control that swelling, right? So
Correct.
the less swelling we get in that soft tissue early on, the quicker the body's going to be able to heal that.
Correct.
The less pain you're going to have. So we're right back in there. We're in a bucket of ice water right after the game, really trying to control that swelling.
I love this because we've had people come up, like players come up with these catchwords like, hey man, I injured myself, but I remember the words rice you guys talked about. That's what you want out of these.
That's
though,
correct.
man.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
exactly what you want out of
Absolutely.
these.
Yeah,
Just
absolutely.
brought awareness to some of these injuries. Yeah, so a couple of quick things. You're absolutely right. I remember the Astrodome when they had the name AstroTurf. And it was basically carpet over concrete.
Oh.
And I could imagine this happened pretty, there's no give there. So nowadays the football fields are made with recycled tires. And that's why we have recycled tires in our shoes when we leave the football fields and go. But that does help with that cushion and absolutely 100% has to be more cushiony on that foot as it pushes on.
Yeah, it has a little more give to it. It's not like that just concrete and where there's no give.
And my next thing is preventative measures that you know of. There is there an exercise or is there an insert or something that you know of for a preventative measure of this?
So we don't see a lot of people doing this prior to having a turf toe, but a lot of times after you've had one in the past, you always play with these carbon fiber inserts, these steel inserts. And they kids tolerate them very well. They don't limit the flexibility of the foot so much that it causes them to run funny. Honestly, you can pick up turf toe inserts on Amazon. They slide in underneath your into your shoe, just underneath the cushion there. And most people won't even know that they're there. So especially in kids who have had an incident, maybe last year they had turf toe, we have those kids wear them as long as they will. We love to see them just keep wearing those inserts because it's going to help protect them.
100%.
Yeah.
Ready?
I now have a better understanding of what turf toe is. So the next time I hear somebody has that injury, I know what it is now.
Oh, that's right, for sure.
Very, very painful. Hard for those ball carriers to really be able to push off and have that drive without.
That's what makes it
without that
special,
big
is the
toe.
ability
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
cut and push
Yeah.
off.
Oh, yeah.
Especially push off. That first step is everything. If you got a slow first step, then you can't get going. And that's massive. Yeah, this one's been really educational. And
Very.
like I said, once we got back, the season was over, we started backtracking, talking to several different coaches. We tracked it back to one brand of shoe, one particular shoe that was very popular last year. And when I tell you,
Yes.
a couple of very high profile players had this. One of them had two of them. Another one ended up having a broken foot, or broken toe, off of it because he kept playing on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I 100% like Reggie have a whole new understanding of it, and I actually know what turf toe is now. So next time I hear it at a picnic, I'm gonna say, "Hey, I got this, yeah."
and the name, we know where it came from now.
That's right.
I never.
That's why it was named. That's right.
100%. You got anything else, Reggie?
I'm good.
Dr. Sparks, I appreciate you as always. These has been fantastic, and like I said before the season started, if we could get bring awareness to one kid on one injury anywhere and help prevent that or help him get back in the game, it's been worth it. And we've had tons of kids come back and say, hey, I watched this when I got this, and I've been doing this to help me prevent this. And that's what we wanted. This has been great.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you as always, and we will see you next week, and we will come up with something very challenging for you.
Okay, all right, I'll be ready.
Thanks so much. All right, our next game brings us to the Ashville Bulldogs and the Fighting Shaven Rose. These guys are coming off a victory over a cross-county rivalry, St. Clair County. I think you guys all agree with that. We're going to let you guys introduce yourselves, starting over here from the left, working our way to the right.
I'm Dylan Harris.
I'm Adrian Hernandez.
I'm Luke Harris.
I'm Kevin Moore. Tailback. Coach tells me to get my tailback over there.
You run out on the field to get the tailback? Go ahead.
What was your name again?
Adrian Hernandez.
Did you get the game winner?
Yes, sir, I did.
And you're technically the backup kicker.
Yes, sir. Actually, I was backup kicker. Like I was just thrown in there. So I was like, okay.
But his trajectory and everything was fantastic. You also were coupled to fumble on a punt. When that
Yes, sir.
I watched your highlights, buddy. Don't tell me I don't watch. These two guys are brothers. Quarterback 4, number 5, which has been on our show before, and is our current Average Joe's Sport Talk Player of the Week.
Yeah.
Coming off 301 yards.
Yeah.
I went by, let me tell you this before we get rolling. I went by and talked to Shay Friday. You guys seen me. I can see you guys on the lead. I said, Coach, what's your game plan? And in so many words, he said, we're going to line up in a single wing, and we're going to run it right at them. And I said, I like where your head's at. A la Paul Benefield. He said, yep. 306 yards from one man and 3 touchdowns later in the victory. I think it worked.
I think it worked.
Take us back to Friday night, my man. What was y'all seeing from their defense that triggered that mentality? We're going to run it right at them.
I mean, with the overload on the right or left side, they shifted to whichever side that we had overloaded. And running the counter back to the left side, what he ran for his touchdowns, it worked. I mean, we just ran the other way.
And y'all had shown some single wing looks, but he held it back pretty much. He didn't show his full package with it, correct?
Yes, sir.
Before that game. Now, you're the man that had 300 yards. Once you got rolling downhill and you saw, like he said, they're overloading the right sides and y'all countering off of it, what was your mentality? You was like, man, it's time to feed the beast because you had 37 carries.
Yes, sir.
Just talk about the night in
I
general.
told them I wanted the ball all night, and they just kept giving it to me. I kept working, I guess.
Kevin Moore was hoarse after the game from screaming, so I know something.
Still am.
I think I saw Kevin turn some backflips on one of his highlight films.
You can see him do a somersault. All right, take us back. I don't know how many seconds on the clock, but y'all actually went back running the football to get you in position for this man to kick, correct?
Yes,
Stop me if I'm wrong. How many seconds is on the clock that you stayed with the run when y'all got the possession?
It was a minute 32. That's when we started, and then we just drove down slowly. And each time we just kept creeping out of bounds. I think we had 2 timeouts. Coach caught them like towards the 50 and the 40, so
That's right.
it just worked perfect.
Plus, each time you picked up a first down, it stopped the clock. As you said. All right. Now, walk me through it, brother. You got it. It ain't just the city. You got the cities, plural, on your back. Everybody watching your teammates, everything, and you trot out there. The floor is yours, brother. Tell us what it was like.
Well, see, at first I thought we were just going to drive it down because Luke had already had like 2-something yards. So I was like, okay, Luke's just going to drive down. We're going to run the wedge and the sweep, and we're going to score. So all of a sudden, I'm just standing by Coach, and he was like, all right, Adrian, get ready. And I was like, all right, yes, sir. I was like, I'm ready, thinking I'm going to run the ball. He was like, no, we're going to kick a field goal. I looked at him and I was like, I'm going to kick a field goal. I was like, Coach, I barely made the PATs. He's like, you're going to kick it, so go warm up. And I was like, I've never warmed up. I don't know how to kick. We didn't have a kicking net out there. I was out there swinging my leg, it's just like, hey, I guess so. Let's just make it happen. And then Hayden was on the sideline, my best friend, and I just looked at him and I laughed because, there was nothing else. I ain't never kicked a field goal in my life. So, my mind went blank from that moment on. And
I was gonna say, once you got out there and lined up right before the snap, did you feel the pressure, or was it just?
It was just all calm. I wasn't really nervous. It's just I wasn't thinking anything, to be honest with
That's
you.
called ice water. Go ahead.
Because if I knew if I had missed it, we was gonna go into overtime, pound it down their throat again, and just win the game. But I knew that it would have just, it would have been better if I could make that kick. So I just let it all go, kept my head down, and let her fly.
Love it.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely love it.
How long was that field goal?
It was originally going to be 36, and then we got a false start, so it backed up to 41.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
That was your first one?
First one
Oh
ever.
my gosh.
Kevin, 1 to 10, how proud of you of these guys?
164. and see, I was getting nervous because if I'm not mistaken, the first Sackler came up 7-0 and we scored. Did we not go for 2 when we scored that first touchdown?
You did go for 2 and get it.
And that's what I was thinking. I was like,
He
hey,
threw
we're
it.
2 earlier and we're kicking a field goal.
Did you? You threw it. Yeah.
And I want to give these guys credit because this team has gotten better each week. And there's been times in the where we this coaching staff has put this team together. In fact, give them confidence because there's been times in the past where we'd be driving the ball, and either fumble it or just not make the play. But these guys, they're sticking in there and they're playing hard. And these guys, and one thing I noticed, the defense has gotten a whole lot better.
Right.
Y'all like physical contact on defense, don't you?
He's just physical contact.
Exactly. He's touching the ball, period. In fact, during the game, I was flipping back. I was trying to catch some high school scores. I was catching the ESPN, and Tim Tebow had on a Luke Harris jersey.
Hey, one last thing before we shut down. You talked about this last night on the network. How special is it to play with your brother, it being his senior year? And you talked about the importance of that on Dog Talk last night.
I mean, like what I said last night, it means more than anything to me because I thought we was going to get shut down after the first game.
Well, I think it's consensus, yeah.
Yeah, I've been playing with these 2 guys my whole life since we was 6 and 7 years old, so it means more than anything to get to play with them there last year.
Dude, I appreciate it, man. I love seeing that, man. I love doing stuff like that. Makes you love high school football. Hopefully we see both you guys tomorrow night and we celebrate this young man's game. And we'll make a trip there, talk a little bit of stories about kicking the field goal.
And we were checking out some of the stats, and that's the first time in the history of Asheville High School they've kicked a winning field goal to win a game, if I'm not mistaken. So that was made history as well.
That may be some
Man,
Marlowe
first
one
game,
games
man.
more than 300. Where did that rank?
Yeah, we've looked at the stats, and that's definitely from what I've found, and I didn't tell you this, but he's definitely in the top 4 all time of single game.
I'm gonna say I know the Marlowe Blunt had some 300.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
But in recent memory, has to be up there.
Keeps it uphill passing.
We can't find all the stats, but he's definitely in the top 4 all time since 1952 for Asheville football.
That's what Kevin
The
graduated.
AHSAA.
Kevin, you graduated in 52?
Yeah, 54. The AHSAA all-time record just got the Marlowe's record, and he's passing guys like the running back from Auburn to Kenyon Johnson. He ranks ahead of him all-time stats.
All right, we're going to have to shut this one down, and I appreciate you guys coming in, and we'll see you tomorrow night. All right, our next game is going to bring us into Center Point versus Leeds. Reggie and I actually got to go out to Anniston last week and get on the sidelines with Center Point, and they kind of held on victory there. Coach, I know when the coaches are draw up a game plan and the way it's scripted out, the way it's supposed to be, it didn't go like that. Coach Wilcox, they weren't too happy campers when we got over there, and him and Coach Bates when we talked to them. But
not at all.
they had control of that game and had some things happen. And but I'll let Coach Wilcox get into that. So right now on the Jairus Rawls Ronnie Watkins Ford hotline, we have Coach Brandon Wilcox, offensive coordinator of Center Point. Coach Wilcox, how are you doing tonight?
Hey, doing great, guys. Appreciate y'all having me on.
We always love having you on. I'm going to kick it over to Reggie, and he's going to talk a little bit about this week because this is the biggest game probably to date for you. Go ahead, Reggie.
Yeah, you guys got the Leeds Green Wave coming up this week. Huge region game. Coach Jerry Hood has got those guys back on track over at Leeds. Talk to us a little bit about some of the things you guys have seen from Leeds so far.
Yeah, it's a big game. I think they've won 5 straight. We've won 3 straight, so something's got to give. They've just, they were really young last year. I remember talking to Coach Hood during we played them in JV when I was over at Montevallo, and he was telling me how they were a young team and they were still learning. They finally started to put it together, and they got a really good defensive end. This guy SEC offers is young. I think he's a sophomore somewhere around there, so he's a young guy, but a lot of potential. Defensively, they're very sound. They're going to run. The defense coach Hood's always been running all the way back to his Clay Chocolate days or even Oak Mountain days. So, they're going to be very sound on that side of the ball. And then offensively, they're going to take care of the football, and they're going to, they're going to be where they're supposed to be and do what they're supposed to do. So, this is definitely one of the better coached teams we've played. And, we're excited about the opportunity. We feel like the winner of this game's got a really good chance of hosting a first-round playoff game, which is always a goal for you. And, so we've got to go on the road and play our best football game to give us a chance.
Coach, this is Bo. How you doing?
Hey, what's up, Bo?
Doing good. Quick question. I know last week when we checked in with you guys got the W in Anniston. Those are kind of coachable moments. I know, when you kind of give up a little bit of the momentum in the lead right there at the end, I know it's not the way you wanted it to happen, but ultimately you got the win, and that's the biggest part of it. What did you guys learn last week from having that, near catastrophe right there at the end?
Yeah, we're up 24-7, and we thought we broke a long run to go up 30-7, and it was, just to be frank about it, it was a bad call by the referee. He said our guy stepped out of bounds. And, I was probably illegally on the field. I had a pretty good view of it, and he didn't step out. And so, anyways, we had to regroup. Next play, we get a holding penalty. So now instead of 30-7, it's 1st and 20. And we have a bust block and throw a pick six on a screenplay that, in my 6 years of calling offense, that's never happened. So, that's obviously just a bust by us, and we've got to do a better job. Like you said, we end up going 3 and out punting, and again, credit to Anniston. They kept fighting, and the next thing you know, it's 24-22, and we've got to recover an onside kick and get a first down to win the ball game. And, credit to our guys. They held on there at the end, and like you said, it's one of those deals where, nobody felt great about the game afterwards, but, Saturday, you wake up and you go, okay, we got to win, and we've got some things we can work on. It's just, again, I think it's the fact that we've got a team that's still learning, how to finish games off. We had a game earlier in the year we felt like we should have finished off, and we didn't. And then this time we did. So I guess we're improving in that area. But at the end of the day, we've just got to clean some things up, take care of the football. We had 3 interceptions Friday night. Some of that's on me, some of that's on – we got to execute a little bit better in some areas. But, at the end of the day, we haven't played in 6 games. We haven't had a single game where we've had the same offensive line. So we think going into this week, we know who our guys are going to be. We can kind of start to say, okay, this is the guy that are going to be playing up front. Let them start building that chemistry up. Hopefully we stay healthy there. And, I feel really good about the guys we've got going into this game. And hopefully we can build on that and continue to carry some momentum moving forward.
All right, Coach, it's Reggie. After a game like that, where you had some things going wrong, but at the same time you got the W. As a coach, what do you say to your players after a game like that?
Hold on 1 second, Reggie. Hey, you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, try that one more time. You're breaking up on me.
Okay. After a game like that, you had some things not go your way, but you still come out with the W. What do you say to your players after a game like that?
Coach Bates' message was this: guys, we should expect to win. You always want to. I learned a long time ago. You don't want to not. And maybe this is a triple negative, but you always want to enjoy the win.
Right.
You always want, because I've had years where you didn't win very many games, and anytime you win a ball game, you want to enjoy it, but at the same time, our guys, and this was Coach Bates' message, we've got to expect to win. And don't be surprised, don't be just happy that hey, we just found a way. Expect to win, and when you start doing that, you don't get complacent. And that's kind of the message for our guys is we've got we've got a lot of room to improve. We've got a long way to go. You know, the good thing is we're not week 9, week 10, where we're starting to look at playoffs already. And we need to play our best football. We've still got, over a month practice and a month of playing games. Where we can improve on those areas. So that was really his message was, guys, we got a lot of stuff we got to clean up. Thank goodness we got the win, but if we play like we did Friday, I don't know if we're going to come away with another one. So we've got to make sure we get those things cleaned up in the next couple of days.
All right.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you coming on as always. You guys keep doing what you're doing, and I know you got a young team, but you guys got a lot of talent, and you got it going in the right direction. And as always, man, it's an honor to have you guys on.
I appreciate it, guys. I appreciate what y'all do for our program, High School Athletics. Y'all have a great week.
All right, you too, Coach.
All right, our next game is going to bring us into the Central Clay County Balls, Joshua. Fighting Heroes.
The Fighting Heroes.
The Heroes of
the
East. Yeah, that was when I tell you that was an absolute pleasure. Before we dig into this game, Central Clay, and I said this on my Facebook, that atmosphere, I've never seen nothing like it. And Josh had mentioned it, and you cannot do it justice until you go there. And I don't know if it's just because the game, I'm sure the game played into it, but they got to be a little bit of that each and every Friday.
It's every week. Tommy Wood, who we've had on the show several times, he does an amazing job with the music and the intro that he's put together. Taisha Wilson, the cheerleading coach, she's got a microphone.
Ooh, there it is.
Yeah. And
Really?
the crowd, I mean, it's just
The band.
everything comes together in Central Clay on Friday nights, and I love it. And I'm not saying that there's not other places like that. I'm sure there is, but for me, Central Clay on Friday nights it's just special.
It was unbelievable.
And the fact that I get to go in and we get to go in and listen to the pregame speech adds a little bit of something to it.
I took the picture. I don't know the gentleman's name. The guy that breaks them down and prays with them before they hit the field.
Mm-hmm.
I took a picture of him doing that, put it on our Facebook. I think it was at 12 or 13,000 people in less than 24 hours. It had reached, been shared, I don't know, 100 times or something. It's insane.
It's insane.
Reggie, you and I's first trip down there, put into words what it was like, that atmosphere.
First off, it's in the middle of nowhere. It was a little bit of a haul, but
I think it's what's special about it.
It is, and because you're just driving and you really see nothing but woods on both sides, and then out of nowhere you're just in this town square, something like you see from a movie. You got your courthouse in the middle of the town square. You got people out, shopping and whatnot. But the atmosphere was something that I'd never seen before. It was definitely something special, and I was amazed at the great job that the folks at Central Clay did. You can tell they put a lot of time and effort into making that game day experience top notch.
They ended up coming up short against Pleasant Grove, a hard fought game. Central Clay is as good as advertised. I think that's obvious. They played with passion. They played with heart, like you'd expect a Central Clay team to. To come up short like that, it's heartbreaking. But we leave this game and go to Oxford, and the first person we see, and I don't care if anybody gets in trouble over this, it's hilarious, was Antoine Fagan Sr. And he goes, "Hey, ain't these fools learned? You can beat that man all you want in the regular season until you beat him in the playoffs. It means nothing."
Yeah.
He just takes that blueprint that you just gave him and then goes and cooks up something to beat you. He's the first person we see. He said, "How's it going?"
Last season they come up short against Jasper and Mortimer Jordan, and they had the unique opportunity to avenge both those losses in the playoffs, and did so.
They did.
And they did so both in convincing fashion. So he may be onto something.
He said he watches that, gets a blueprint, then he goes and executes that blueprint down to a T. I wouldn't want to play him. Well, the thing about it is you wouldn't have to deal with him unless it's in the state championship game.
Yeah.
Because they're now Central Clay's in the South, and they'll probably have to deal with somebody out of the Mobile area.
I'll tell you what though.
And/or Pike Road, but that's a different story at the moment.
Pleasant Grove is a good team too. They've got athletes all over the field.
Yeah.
All over the field.
Yeah, they're a real good football team. No doubt.
Yeah.
Peter, go
Out
ahead.
here, I just want to, I followed Danny Clay in the '90s, in the early 2000s when he was at, Clay County was just a small 2A school, and then when he left and Benjamin Russell and they merged two schools, I kind of lost track. But I've been following because of Josh, and I've been watching them and everything. You can't find a better man in the state of Alabama that's got the character and ethics that Coach Danny Horn has.
Every speech is about the Bible. He begins with the Bible. Josh said that.
A lot of coaches need to learn from him.
And
a lot of coaches have.
he
He's got about 20 guys on staff right now.
he has something that he says before the game, and he has something he says at halftime, and it's the block, tackle, and execute. Team that blocks best, tackles best, executes best usually wins. And at halftime, it's the first 5 minutes of the third quarter set the tempo, and the fourth quarter. And they're playing as hard in the fourth quarter as they played in the first quarter. But to tell you about his character, he always, if he says we need to go out there and hit them hard, he always follows it up with make it legal. We don't play dirty. And I thought, maybe that was just a one-time incident, but no, he says it every time. He is a stickler. He tells his guys, don't go out there, play dirty, and he's by the book on everything.
Yeah.
Kudos to the whole time.
Kudos, yeah. I mean, that was my first time at Central Clay, and I was very impressed. I felt like I was a little, what do you call it when you meet a celebrity?
Starstruck?
I was starstruck. I just seeing Danny Horn in that locker room giving that pregame speech. I was just like,
Reggie looked at me. He was like,
and I'm like, I need to go to the men's room, but I don't want to miss anything type deal. But it was.
If you don't mind, I'm gonna say this before we shut this one down. But when Reggie and I walked in, we were going to the pass gate, and I can't remember which coach it was grabbed us and drug us in the locker room. He's like, "No, right here." And when you walked around that corner, there's a whole different atmosphere, wasn't there?
It was.
The whole demeanor of everything changed when we hit that. Because we walk up and J.D. McNeely's right there, and he goes, "There he is." And then we seen him, and then we looked right past him, and then there's Danny Horn giving the speech, and Reggie was like, it was special. But man, it won't be our last time out there, brother. I know we got our teams we got to go cover, but we're going back there. Josh, you got anything else? We're going to shut this one down because they got Talladega this week.
Yeah.
They don't want to.
I don't think they want to play them right now.
I would want to play
Talladega?
Central Clay.
Yeah. No. Definitely want to play.
I don't think any team wants to play Central Clay after a loss like that.
No. But I expect Central Clay to get back to work. They're very, very businesslike.
Talladega's struggling a bit this year too, man. This is not a good time to play Central Clay, especially if you're struggling.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're coming off another loss. They lost again to Hopeville, 28-14.
But
yeah, that's not.
On Facebook.
No, actually coming off an open week.
On Facebook, I'm friends with a lot of the players that graduated last season, and all of them on Saturday mornings they were tagging players that were there. Hey, keep your heads up, keep moving forward, keep getting better. The whole town's just like that. I mean, it's like the whole town it's literally like a movie. Everything just shuts down.
It's a special place, man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just glad we'll be a part of it.
Yeah.
You guys got anything else? We're going to go on to our next.
All right, guys, we got our next team up, the Coosa Christian Conquerors with Coach Mark O'Brien. And he's brought some of his younger players with us with him today. And we'll let these guys introduce themselves. We'll start right here.
My name is Clayton O'Brien. I'm in the 8th grade. I play elf and I play corner.
Okay.
My name is Trey. I play wide receiver and defensive end.
My name is Warren. I'm in 8th grade. I play nose guard and right tackle.
My name is D'Anthony Smith. I play slot and safety, and I'm in the 8th grade.
Now, if you're wondering why everyone stood up, Coach, you were in the service, right?
Yeah.
And what branch were you in?
I was in the Navy.
Okay. And I've already noticed that Navy several times today. But yeah, I love it.
Respect.
Guys, y'all are coming off a huge win over Asbury last week, 28-19. Talk to us about that game, man, and how that and the feeling of beating a larger school like that.
Yeah, it was a good win for these guys. You know, all these guys start on varsity.
Wow.
Okay, and I think we started 6 8th graders, 1 7th grader on varsity, and it would be 7 8th graders, but one of them tore his ACL.
Oh,
right. Yeah, he tore it the second game of the year against Gaston, right? But it was great that we had things not go our way. You know, we had a lot of adversity. We had 4 touchdowns called back. We probably had 200 yards in penalties. So things didn't go our way at all. And, you know, these young guys just kept persevering, right? And good things happen to those that play hard. I'm a firm believer in that, right?
So you had 4 touchdowns called back?
Yeah.
Because of penalties?
That's what they say.
Well, you know, guys, I'll take that. I've told I've still got a nephew playing ball, and those are correctable things. You know, you guys, man, being in 8th grade, I couldn't imagine playing at the varsity level in the 8th grade. So hats off to you guys for going out there and doing what you do, man. We got to catch the first game when you guys played Westbrook, and I was just impressed that you guys go out there and how hard you play.
Oh yeah.
So it's kind of neat to watch, man.
I'll tell you what, a couple of years, man. You heard it here first.
And I don't want to fast forward too much, but I can't wait here.
It's really, and I
sure.
think I've shared this with Reggie, it's a really special group. It's talent-wise, it's the best group that I've ever had in all my years of coaching.
Yeah, I was gonna say you did mention that last week that this group was in all your years of coaching this.
You know, the thing is they don't play like 7th and 8th graders, even though they're very talented. They play with just an attitude, right? And they're very physical kids. Very physical, and they're really strong. I mean, we've had them in the weight room since their 7th grade year. Of course, Trey's new to the weight room, so he's getting to feel how that goes. But and they just do it.
I want to ask each one of you, what's the toughest part of Coach O'Brien's practice for you personally?
Camp week.
Camp week?
It's like we do stuff that he did when he was in the Navy. It's harsh.
Really? What about you?
Every day.
Every day?
It's hard, but at the same time, it's fun.
Right.
Monday through Friday, you gotta do what you gotta do.
That's right. Put the work in, right?
That's that wide receiver mentality, right?
Yeah, it is. And what about you, Mr.
Tweet?
Camp.
Camp.
Tell me about camp. What does that consist of?
We had
to do
fireman carries, low crawl, 600 yards.
Is this early morning stuff?
Well,
what's carry mean?
Unfortunately, we had to. It's a camp that I had to modify a lot due to this virus, right? So normally, what we do is we have a 3-day camp. Now I'm telling y'all some inside stuff that they don't even know yet. Okay, so next year they'll get to experience the full benefit of it. All right, so we'll go 3 days. They'll get an hour of sleep a night, and it's training 23 hours a day. Okay, and it's carrying logs. It's carrying, you know, a lot of races, and it pays to be a winner, right? And somebody's going to win, and there's a whole group of them going to lose, and when you lose, it's pretty painful. Yeah. Okay, and so we had to modify that camp this year just because we didn't want the optics to look bad. Right. You know, we got all the COVID stuff going on. We didn't know if we was going to have football. Well, I didn't need them staying overnight. Not that they were going to sleep, because they wasn't, but it just didn't look good. So we went about 12 hours a day, and it was training for 12 hours a day. Okay, and it was various forms of training, right? Whether it be, team building, practice.
Is that part of the summer workout? What you're talking about? Or is
No, it's past the summer. It's right before you go into pads.
Okay.
Right, and we just train them for You know, we did it for 3 days, but it's really a laid back camp this year.
I think Average Joe needs to volunteer to get a first-hand, don't be saying my name.
Buddy, you're
a first-hand experience of that.
I think Buddy's a good candidate.
Buddy's a great candidate. And that's what we'll do. We'll do that. We'll do that next year. Actually, John Gross and I, we're very close, right? And so John and I came up with this whole format of it. We picked each other's brains and we teamed up on it, and we actually started doing it at Fort McClellan. Okay, and we did that for a few years, and I'd rather do it in-house. And so that's what we're going to do from here on out. And
all right, you guys are off this week.
We are.
And this offense is probably coming at a good time because you got a huge game coming up with Valley Head next week, which I know you probably won't dive into too much. We can probably talk about that some next week, but you get back in the region play against a very good Valley Head team. So you guys, with this week, I'm taking y'all are going to probably clean some things up from the game this past week.
yeah, we're doing we don't have an in-season, out-of-season weight program. Everything's in season, okay? So we don't back off what we're doing weight-wise.
Right.
Okay, we may skinny down a day, but we're taking maybe that fourth day of workouts and we're crushing them into the 3 days, okay? So that's what we're going to do this week. We're going to keep them off the field a little bit more this week.
Okay.
We're going to watch a lot of tape this week. And of course, they got a JV game tomorrow. So yeah, and so we'll bring those guys in.
So they'll get some reps tomorrow night?
They'll start. Yeah, they'll start tomorrow night, and then we'll break down film with them. We'll call them in there, we'll break down film with them and show them what they're doing wrong and right and that kind of thing.
Good deal. Well, guys, we appreciate having you on once again, and we look forward to having y'all on in the future going forward. Good luck in your JV game tomorrow night, guys, and y'all go out there and kill it.
Thank you so much.
All right, and we're going to move on to our next team.
All right, our next games bring us into the Etowah Blue Devils, who had a tough game last week versus Fort Payne. I have at this moment the defensive coordinator, Coach Pierce, in here with me. Love Coach Pierce. Had him on last year. Learned a lot. It's actually a catchphrase we still use on Average Joes of the Day. Make them snap it one more time.
That's it.
We still use that to this day. You guys had a tough loss. Rough game officiated up at Fort Payne. I know you guys don't dive into the officiating some, but that loss really in the grand scheme of things, maybe from a morale standpoint, meant something, but your overall plan means absolutely nothing with the biggest game by far and away on the horizon with Good Hope.
Well, every game's the biggest game of the year.
That's correct.
So, and I hate using the it doesn't mean anything, because if it didn't, they wouldn't keep score. So it did.
Good point.
Our kids played hard. Got a lot of positives off of it. And, it's hard to find positives sometimes from losses, but there's a lot of positives. Our kids played their guts out.
I've heard several.
We had opportunities. I've told my guys that when we do us, we're pretty good, and when we get away from us, we're not very good. So that tells me we've got to be who we are. Like you said, big game this week. Good Hope is a very good football team. People say, but you don't get to be 6-0 by accident. You have to beat whoever you play. Real similar offensively to what Fort Payne is. They're going to be big. They're going to be maybe as bigger than we are. They've got a 220-pound running back. They've got an athlete at quarterback. So they do some things that present some issues. Defensively, they are in some places a matchup problem for us. But we go out, and if we'll play hard, make them snap it one more time, then we'll be okay.
Absolutely.
I like our guys. Wouldn't trade them. I love our guys. I wouldn't trade them.
You have a relatively young defense as well. You do have some seniors over there, but you got a lot of young guys that contribute big minutes. Talk about that combination. You got a couple of seniors, yes, you do.
Yeah.
But to me, the core of your team's still underclassmen.
It is, but those guys, and it works out great when you can be kind of like what we are, where you have those underclassmen, but you have that dude at every level. You know, we've got a Toby Camp up front. That's a dude. We got Trevor Gladden in our linebackers. That's a dude. You got Nana on our back end. That's a dude. That's 3 guys that can, you know, get these other guys. Hey, this is how it's got to be. You know, they kind of understand, and I've known, and they've been around me, and they understand what I expect, and you know, they understand I'm gonna coach them hard. You know, and
we've seen that firsthand.
And I tell them, you know, you're never gonna play perfect. I don't care how good you play. So you know, they understand that when some of those 10th grade guys that we're playing, when I get on them, they understand the fact that look, coach sees something and he demands he's going to demand what you got. He's not going to accept what you give. And they understand that. And they take some leadership on it on some things of, hey, you know, let's go. We got a standard. Etowah is always been known for hard work, blue collar defensive football, and they don't want to be the group that people say don't play Etowah style football.
They don't, you know, a lot of these younger guys that Etowah now don't realize, you know, you was there during the Kevin Worthies, the Bootsies, the, you know, Jermaine Howards, these unbelievable players. They're not going to fool you and say,
no.
Oh, coach, yeah, I've already seen it, done it. I've seen it at every level.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
The good thing about that, though, is, to me, Etowah is a blue-collar town.
It is.
And nothing, to me, screams Etowah football more than a good defense. It's always been like that. I mean, some of the best defenses I've ever seen, like it was at 94 with Rowan and those guys.
Yes, they were very good.
Unbelievable. But those kind of teams and a lot of those traits, and especially those linebackers and all, kind of remind me of those guys.
Throwback guys.
Throwback guys. Like Dobbs is a guy, he's got a talent. I mean, he is a talent.
Yeah.
And to me, he solidifies what a
You
talent
almost
football
have
player
to
is.
keep him on a leash and just let him off on Friday nights. Don't get me started on Dobbs. he knows I love him, but he knows I'd like to lay hands on him sometimes in an unholy manner. But he knows I love him.
Dobbs lays hands on them other guys.
He is polar opposite from everything I've seen from him and Toby Camp. Yes. Toby walks around. Yes. And you never know he was like a linebacker. No. And
or you do.
Yeah. You never know he was a dude like he is. And Trevor Gladden. You look at Trevor Gladden
like a baseball player.
You're going, that dude plays linebacker. And if Trevor Gladden if he gets to your tackle,
you're done.
He's a dang tackling machine now, I'm telling you.
His dad was the same way.
His dad was.
They're the
His
kind
dad
of guys
blocked
who
the block
can just
off.
turn it on and off. And when they hit that field, boom.
And it's good, you know, Trevor's done a great job. He stepped in and the last 2 years, and he's really, you know, he's really an extension of having me out there because he understands what I want, and he's able to get us where we need to be and see some things and come back and say, hey, coach, they're doing this, and what about, you know, and so he's really the mental aspect of it. He doesn't get enough credit for that part of it.
High football IQ.
Yes. And I think it's maybe more than IQ is he's pretty in tune to what I want, how I see things, and what we're trying to do, and how, because I talk with him and say, look, this is what we think, and this is, you know, and he's pretty in tune with that. That's big.
Coach, before we shut this one down, we got so many people here, we got to roll, but before we shut this one down, give me a scenario. If we can do this defensively, we'll be all right Friday. What is the main keys?
Stop the run, contain the quarterback.
There we go.
And make them snap it again.
I love it.
I
dude.
mean,
that's one of our favorite sayings.
We're going to have a poster, mate.
Oh, dude,
for
sure.
That's 100%. You watch high school, Pee Wee football to pro football. Make them snap it again. Make them have to beat you.
It's so simple.
It is.
It's something I never thought about.
We try to make with the spread offense, communist offenses. Everybody tries to make football so hard. Bottom line, it's still snap it again. High school football teams in general cannot snap the ball 14 times without messing up.
That's true.
So make them snap it again.
Love it.
Live to fight another day.
I love it. Coach Pierce, it's been a pleasure having you on.
Thank
Definitely
y'all.
don't want it to be the last time. And we're going to move on to our next segment.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Our next game brings us into the Fyffe Red Devils versus the Plainview Bears, the Fighting Robbie Cokers. Hey, We have a very special guest all the way from Fyffe, Alabama. He's known as the B-Man. Introduce yourself, sir.
Jason Bethune, class of 94, go Big Red.
He is, when I tell you a Fyffe fan, Paul Benefield said it himself when I was up there Saturday. He said, he don't care if I'm here. He don't care if the janitor's coaching this team. He's pulling for Fyffe. And when I tell you he's pulling for Fyffe, you better believe he's pulling for Fyffe.
Oh, definitely.
But to give us a little background, you was there before Fyffe been on this run, and you're going to be here after Fyffe goes on this run. What has this run meant to you personally, man, to watch this in school you went to?
I can't even put it into words. The coach I played for and Coach Benefield played for, Coach Householder. When he came there in the early 70s, Harold Baldwin always told me the stories. When he came there, he goes, we're going to win a state championship. I don't know when, but it will happen. You know, there's always a line boy in Clay County, somebody in there, like, man, can we ever do it? And then we had a couple rough years. Coach Householder retired the year after my senior year. We had a couple rough years. And then Coach Benefield came back home and turned it around. And we finally won that first one. It was just, couldn't put it in words because, you know, like, are we ever going to do it? You know, it seemed like we would have an injury, you know, an injury or something like that. And we finally done it, and then we won that first, and I just with that feeling, I think about it just about every day. It was
because he said it was going to happen, then to see it happen.
To see it happen.
Yeah. He, Coach Benefield actually told, I think it was Josh and I, could be Reggie and I can't remember. But he's like, we won that first one. I just gave everybody the jersey or whatever. He's like, I didn't think he was ever going to do this again. He said, man, this is Fyffe, man. This is Fyffe.
Yeah.
And, but to see what he's done, and then for you, I specifically seen you immediately after the 300th win. Talk about how special that was for you to be there that moment and see that 300th win.
Just that milestone to be there. You know, Coach Biffin's been one of my heroes for a long time. Before he was the head coach, he was a junior football coach. He was our elementary PE teacher. We'd play two-hand tag in PE every day, and coach was quarterback for both teams.
Nice.
So if you could catch a touchdown pass from Coach Benefield in fourth grade PE, he was the man the rest of the day. Lunch tastes better, this break tastes better. So, you know, I've known Coach and his family, you know, my whole life. And I've always been friends. And other than that I got married and the birth of my two children, when I heard he was coming back to Fyffe to coach, it's one of the happiest days of my life.
You knew things was about to change, didn't you?
And when he came back, he'd been there about a week. I went and watched practice, and as soon as I left there, I called my buddies and said, hey, things is about to be different.
Yeah.
It's going to be turned around. I mean, it's just...
Could you ever envision it being what it is, though?
Oh, gosh, I always dream, you know. I just feel like to win one state championship, and then to get two, three. I mean, you know. It's just unbelievable. Little Fyffe. I sit and think, little Fyffe, Alabama.
I know, right?
Man. But Coach Benefield, you know, he's the man. He's the
architect.
He makes it go. I'm telling you, he's
Reggie, what you got for him, my man?
You know, one of the things question I get asked probably more than anything is what is going on at Fyffe? Like, what's so special about Fyffe? What are they doing that's different from everybody else? And I could never find the words. It's one of those things. Actually, we told somebody this last week. I'm like, dude, you just have to go up there.
Mm-hmm.
And do you know what the secret is? Or, I mean, like, what's going on at Fyffe?
Just a lot of hard work, a lot of strength conditioning program. That's a big part of it. I mean, there's a lot of kids that start the summer program thinking they want, hey, I want one of them rings all the other guys have got, and then you get into it a few days, a few weeks, like, no, this is not for me. But the ones that go through it, buy in, and stick with it, the ones that are with him when the season starts, they're in shape, they're strong, and they're mentally tough.
That's it.
That's it. You know, and they're just an extension of, you know, Coach Benefield, how he runs the program, and he just every day, you know, it's every day.
Yeah. His favorite quote is, the harder you work, the harder it is to surrender.
Absolutely.
And I think he instills that in everybody on that team.
It's absolutely.
We got the Peanut Gallery. Got a question.
Peanut Gallery come in. If you had, I'm going to pick on the spot here, a Mount Rushmore of Fyffe players.
Oh, Ooh. Good question.
We're all ears.
Yeah, we're ready for this one.
How many spots are there?
Four.
Mount Rushmore.
Spots. Coach Benefield, obviously. I've got to put Coach Householder.
Okay.
Danny Ridgway, early 70s that went on to play at Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I got one more.
You got one
oh
more.
my gosh. Dear stars. There's so many I don't want to make anybody.
Maybe Miles?
He's the epitome of a fine football player. Him and Ike.
Yeah.
Ty Bell. I mean, I can go on naming. Like they're just not the biggest guys in the world.
Yeah.
Not they
They just
hard workers and
Paul Benefield
do what you're told.
On Paul Benefield's 300th video we did, he took time to talk about Malachi Miles specifically.
He did.
And I was like, wow. So throughout the ages, 50 years
You
from
don't
now.
want him bringing you out specifically, pointing you out specifically, most times.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But for him to go out of his way to say something positive, that's rare.
Really, and I thought that meant the world to Malachi, I'm sure.
Back way before my time, Charles Long, he went and he played for the Patriots from 61 to 68. Was runner up for Rookie of the Year in the AFL and made the Patriots All-Decade team. So,
Long Ridgeway Stadium.
Yeah, that's the Long.
Well, it's Paul Benefield Stadium at Long Ridgeway Field now, right?
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
Didn't see him, but heard a lot of stories.
Let's dive into this week's game. I hate to. I'd sit here and do a Fyffe history with this man. But when's the last time you seen an undefeated matchup like this and mean so much? Because now we're in the same region.
It's been a few years.
Yeah.
And, as if we're wanting enough on the line, go down Highway 75, and there they are. And now it's a region, it's for playoff position.
Absolutely.
I mean, this very well could be for, home field. Like right there. And, and they're running a new offense this year. More like triple option. You don't see that a lot.
You got to stop what you're doing, put in a package to stop that.
Yeah.
Man, Reggie and I talked about this with Ollie Smith. You have to stop what you're normally doing, put in a package just to stop that, and then go back to your normal television programming after this week. So, it is a tricky week. And going to Plainview, I think what favors Fyffe, though, is Fyffe's been there and done that so much. This is not new to them. This is going to be kind of new to Plainview. You know what I mean? In my opinion, now. We don't do score predictions on here, but that's just my humble opinion.
Yeah, it's and it's been a while since Plainview has been 5-0, and from what weather-wise, we know Fyffe likes that nice chilly weather on the fall night. I think we're going to get some of that Friday night. So
and Reggie says it's going to dip way down.
What's the temperature change from
here to Fyffe?
Yeah.
Oh, it's usually 6 to 10 degrees colder when I leave my house in Rainbow City when I arrive in Fyffe. That's kind of odd, it being the Devil's Den and all, and Red Devils. You thought it'd go the other way. With that being said, if Fyffe does what Fyffe has been doing, seems like for the last decade or two, I think Fyffe's going to be okay in this game, and they're going to have the added bonus of rivalry there, playoff positioning, and region championship on the line.
Yeah, because this game very well could be for the region championship. Because who else in that region? I mean,
it's going to be these two. Because now Sylvania's, they've already beat them. So it's going to be between these two. One last thing before we close it down. This group of seniors, dude.
Oh, man.
Are you kidding me?
I'm telling you, these guys are, since they've been in kindergarten, been winning little Pee Wee Super Bowls.
Oh, man.
They haven't lost, I'm not jinxing. They haven't lost a football game in
2017,
they was 8th graders.
They were 8th graders.
Right.
So
No, not 9th graders. Something like that.
Yeah. But, and technically, most high school teams is 10th through 12th. So, this group, I don't think has lost since Pee Wee. If you took them being the majority of the team.
Yeah, exactly. The junior varsity, I know when they was in 8th grade, they give up 8 points the whole year, and that's when Brody, Dalton, Malachi, and all them was done out. It was like a minute to go against Sterling, and they broke one on the back. But that was up. So they got a good defense now. They've been playing good defense.
So this group of seniors has been at Fyffe for the majority of their.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I've got a Pee Wee picture from 2012. Should make every one of those guys.
Everyone, I think every one of them actually.
It's contrary to popular belief.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
But yeah, we're going to shut this one down, but man, it's been an absolute honor.
Before we shut this one down, can we move the helmet and
Get that shirt. Yeah.
Paul Benefield,
My hero.
So yeah,
y'all, thanks for having me on. This is
Man.
honor. It's one of my favorite shows. I said it's not game week until I watch the Average Joe's preview show.
I told you we have watch parties with Breakfast with Benefield.
Oh yeah, we put it up on the TV and
I
everything.
told you, man. We've had technical difficulties with that, but we're about to be back up and running.
Good deal.
We got it going, brother. But you coming down here means the world to us.
It does.
And
Like I said, we were in the car on our way to Clay Central Friday, and you sent me that picture. You were already at the stadium, and I'm like, it's only 5:30. And I had the idea. I said, Bo, we should see if he can come down on Monday. And I was like, I'm about to ask him.
I said, dude, do it right now.
We have reserved seats, but we have to get there at 5.
Oh,
so you gotta watch the other team get there and do their walkthrough, and then you gotta size them up. And
I like
I like all the sounds,
there's
the sights and the
there.
the sights
I
and
like
the sound. I want to take it all in.
D-Man's over there picking up grass. Doing
But one day when Coach Benefield is retired and fishing or whatever he's doing, I want to say, hey, I enjoyed every second when he
for
was
sure.
having his run.
Before, during, and after games.
Yeah.
Well, brother,
Absolutely.
It's a pleasure as always. I will be there Friday myself to witness this game.
And I might be with you.
That's right. I love it.
Yeah.
And we are going to shut this one down and on to our next one.
All right, guys, our next game up is the Gadsden City Titans. Here with Rodney Johnson Jr., also a.k.a. Scarface. Coming off a pretty tough loss against Oxford Yellowjackets last week, man. We were there for a few minutes in the second half. But tell us about that game and kind of what went on at the beginning going forward.
I say at the beginning of that game, we had the momentum coming in, but my teammates, it's like we started to beat ourselves. It's not too many mistakes that we made, but we made like one or two mistakes and it changed the momentum of the game.
Yeah.
But as always, we did that to ourselves.
Yeah. When you play in a team like Oxford, though, you almost got to play mistake-free football. If you make a mistake, they're going to definitely capitalize on that and turn it into points. So it's totally understandable with that. But moving on, you got to jump back in the region play this week, going to Tuscaloosa County. Tuscaloosa County, they've got a lot of tradition. They've had some powerhouse teams back in the day, but the last few years they've kind of fell on some hard times, and I think they're in a rebuilding stage as well. So talk to us about Tuscaloosa County. Have y'all had a chance to watch any film on them?
Us as Minnesota City, I feel like we don't really need to watch that much film on them. We just need to play us. Mm-hmm. That's been our biggest concern. Being us, that's why I say the games that we lost, it's been us, not that teams have been better than us, but we just made a lot of mistakes that we can correct.
Mm-hmm. I do the Coach Ollie Smith show every week, and that's one of the things I think he talks about every week is we just have to, he says, we've got to go out there and take care of ourselves and not beat ourselves. We got to take care of Gadsden City first. So you kind of repeating that tells me that you guys are listening, you're taking it in and whatnot. But Tuscaloosa County, what are some of their tendencies on offense? Are they a run-first team or are they pass? Kind of what have you seen from them so far?
Tuscaloosa, man, they're pretty much a powerhouse run team. Try to run it down their throat a lot. Mm-hmm. With the running back, number 3, I guess that's who it is. But they rely on him a lot. I feel like if we could stop him, then we would get a dub. Okay,
all right, man. Well, Rodney, man, we appreciate you coming on. Good luck to you guys this week. Anything else?
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
What was Coach Smith's message to you in the locker room after Oxford? Because I know he's always the type of guy. He's going to spin everything around as a teachable moment. What did he say to you guys directly after that game?
The biggest part about that game was competing. Coach Smith is on us a lot about competing because Coach Smith has been with all of us since we were kids, and that's all we knew is to compete. And for us not to go out to compete, he's seen that. So yeah, I guess he's gonna be a lot harder, and that's about competing.
100%. We appreciate you coming on, man. Always a pleasure. We've had you on several times, and we're gonna have you on several more times.
Oh yeah.
We love our man Scarface.
We do, man. We do. We're gonna. Hey, he always finds the camera on Friday nights. He finds the camera on Friday nights.
You know one thing I like about this man, though?
Yeah.
He supports all sports.
He does, man. He does.
See him at other sport events.
Yeah, he does.
He's a Titan through and through. I love that about him.
You know, that's something I've actually noticed about the football team. It's not, man, it's the whole team. I think, does Coach Smith encourage y'all to go to other sport events and support the other teams on campus?
I mean, he encourages us, but it's something that we take pride in doing because I guess, I don't know, that's just us. We like supporting each other. We feel like that's our brother.
Scarface, the new Jakari Embry.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
You gonna be
yeah.
dancing at basketball games on camera?
I think I'm going to be playing this year.
Yeah, remember, he's playing, yeah.
That's right. You're right.
So, yeah, man, we look forward to having you on some more, and we appreciate you coming on today, and good luck. Peanut Gallery?
No.
Oh, okay. Good luck to you guys this week against Tuscaloosa County. All right. Our next team up are the Glencoe Yellowjackets, coming off a pretty big win last week over Douglas. But before we get into that, we're going to let these guys introduce themselves, starting right here.
Name and position.
Yeah.
My name's Levi Long. I play defensive end and fullback.
My name's Cade Crowder. I play offensive tackle and nose guard.
Yeah, you're the epitome of the what Keith Jackson called the big uglies.
Yeah.
Right in the middle of everything. I like it.
Yeah, I heard Levi Long's name a lot. Glencoe Hokes Bluff game. Levi Long.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's the biggest man. Yeah. He looks like a young Lou Ferrigno now.
Anybody want to pick him up?
That's a compliment, man, for sure.
Do you know who Lou Ferrigno is?
No, sir.
What? The old Incredible Hulk? We'll show you pre-league.
All right.
Let's dig into this game, man. How good was it to get back on the winning side of things? We'll let both of you guys answer that.
Well, coming in, we were pretty confident, thinking about, well, we got a chance to get on track again. And then we go out there, kind of get down, like we can't let this happen again. So after halftime, made a bunch of adjustments. We come out and they scored no points in the second half. We scored 20 unanswered. Come back and win in overtime. It was a pretty big win.
100%.
Wow.
Yeah, it felt good. Like we were down, and it never felt like we weren't going to come back. Like, it felt like we were still winning, or we were winning when we were down. Like, it wasn't every moment we felt like we were going to lose.
Is that the same way in the Weaver game, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You always thought in the back of your head, somehow, some way, this is not going to end the way it seemed.
Yeah, right. That game we were down 20-0, but it still felt like we're in this game.
Yeah, we still
We
got
knew we were.
confidence.
I love it, man. That's
Take it one play at a time.
Well, the thing about it is, he's kind of instilled that, already has a never quit attitude. Y'all had some bad breaks this year, but I mean, here's the deal. Y'all have gotten better each week. I know you've had injuries and COVID, and I mean, everything happens at once, but to get that win last week was a huge.
And Douglas is having a great year.
Yeah, Douglas is the best year they've had in 15 years, I
15,
think.
20 years, yeah. So,
We actually had them on the show. What's his name, Fontaine, the running back?
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely getting that win was huge for you guys, and I know you guys were missing Eli Huff.
Yeah.
But even without him being out there with you guys, y'all still came out with the win. So that was really huge.
Yeah.
What was the story about him painting the field too? That made like big all around the county news. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
He said he wouldn't be able to
Was
play.
he out there on Friday night?
Oh,
Yeah, he was cheering on, pumping up the crowd and everything.
Every time we got timeout, came the huddle, he was over there patting each other on the
Pumping
head.
us up.
That's what you
That's a
call
good
it.
teammate.
Yes,
Yeah,
he's a real
he
good
is.
teammate. Yeah.
But I'm sure you guys do the same if y'all's in the situation.
Yes, sir.
I love it.
I do too. I do too.
I know what Allred's doing out there, man. I mean, the attitude of the guys we've had on has been great. Every single time.
Definitely.
These guys all kind of preach that same team mentality. So who we got coming up this week?
We got
Walter Weather.
Walter
Wellborn, yes.
Where's that game gonna be at?
At Wellborn.
On the hill.
Dude, on the hill. That's a tough place to play, but it's also an opportunity for you guys because
Big.
Yeah.
they are a big physical football team. I mean, they're not scoring the points they have been the last couple of years, but their defense is still really, really good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a tremendous opportunity. I mean, here's the deal. eventually you're going to have to play them all anyways in your region. So this is the next one up. This is the one that, you know, good thing you had that win last week. Get some momentum coming into this game.
Great success is born from great opportunity.
100%. Have y'all watched film on them yet?
We watched them today.
What did y'all see?
They're very predictable in offense, and
that's why you were smiling.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they're very predictable.
Just missed at home.
Offensive wise, defensive wise, we got a couple plays I think we can really burst out on them.
There you go.
You know.
They're predictable, but they do a lot of things right. Don't do a lot of things wrong.
They're well coached.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt.
Discipline.
Well, guys, I'm glad you guys came on with us. I appreciate having you in. You guys are welcome on anytime. Everybody we've met from Glencoe's been outstanding. And we're just glad we got that pipeline up and running now. And looking forward to having you guys back on sometime.
Yes, sir.
All right, on to our next.
All right, everybody, we're back with the Hokes Bluff Eagles here, and I'll let these guys introduce themselves.
I'm Will Willingham.
I'm Tucker Griffin.
Coming off a big win, it wasn't a region game, but you guys played a very, very good Spring Garden team, and you come out with a 42-28 win. And tell us a little bit about the practice leading up to this game. How you guys, what you did to prepare for Spring Garden, Will?
Just making sure, running over all of our stunts and everything, and making sure that they're not going to get the ball around us, and trying to contain the quarterback and get pressure on him to keep him from passing it.
Tucker, on the defensive backside, we know that they throw the ball, they throw it very well. So what was one of the things going into the game that you guys knew you had to do?
Well, we knew they had real good receivers and they had a good quarterback. So he just told us not to mess up much. He did pretty good.
Yeah, jumped out pretty quick on a scoop and score, and then next thing you know, it's 21-0, and then here they come. Their quarterback, very good quarterback, very good receiving core. They jump back in the game real quick. So at halftime, I believe it was it 21-20 at the half. So tell us about the adjustments that were made at halftime. I know there were things that obviously had to be done because they were able to throw the ball on us, but coming out after half, tell us a little bit about how that went at halftime, about the adjustments.
Just trying to get pressure on that quarterback and make him throw it quicker.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he was fast on his feet and everything, and just trying to get him to get the ball out of his hands faster.
You're not doing more stunts or is anything like that?
Yeah, we put in a few more stunts and tried to run them, and it seemed to work out pretty good.
You defensive backs, Tucker, you're probably you guys are both juniors, so I don't really consider you guys young guys anymore. Y'all have had a lot of playing time, played a lot of ball last year, and Will actually moved from middle linebacker to the defensive end spot this year, right?
Yes, sir.
So how did that move come about?
We had a lot of guys. We had more depth in our linebackers and DNs. We were kind of, we didn't really have no speed or anything. And then so Coach Rob was like, "Why don't you try defensive end?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll try it." And then it just kind of stuck with it.
You did a good job. You was able to get some pressure on him. Tucker here, he plays on both sides of the ball. I believe he had, was it 19 carries for around 93 or 94 yards and 2 touchdowns? So I got to ask you, what do you like playing better, offense or defense?
Probably defense.
Defense?
Yes, sir.
Man, as long as I've known you, I know you like to stick people. You like to put the hit on them.
Yes, sir.
And, but you also put the hit on them when you're running the ball as well. Y'all played a great game. You got Weaver coming up this week, which is region play, I believe, back to region play. So anything special we're looking at this week you're going to have to do, prepare for them?
Just basically don't overlook them since I've been out for 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Just go out there and play good football.
Mm-hmm. I don't believe we had a lot of penalties. We didn't have a lot of penalties in this game against Spring Garden, really, did we?
No, sir.
Played pretty clean football. And moving forward into region play, you've got Wellborn coming up, you got Piedmont. So those are the things that going into this week, you want to start trying to perfect that side of the game. The mental mistakes, and I think you guys are moving forward doing that each week. That I've seen personally that y'all have gotten better and better at. And so going into Weaver this week, guys, y'all travel to Weaver, is that correct? Well, good luck to both of you. We wish you the best the rest of the season. I'll be back out there to watch you guys. I won't be there this week, but I'll be there the next week, and we appreciate y'all coming on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to our next one.
All right, our next game is the Ohatchee Indians versus Piedmont. Last week, you guys were off. Let's start right here with Aiden. Oh, wait, let me let you guys introduce yourselves for those who may not know you right now.
Aiden Simpson. Give me a play.
Yeah, linebacker.
Well, defensive end and fullback.
Connor Basil, outside linebacker, quarterback.
Lewis Hurson, tight end and linebacker.
All right, so last week you guys were off. What was the main focus? I know you may or may not have put in some of your Piedmont stuff, but what was your main focus going into that off week with Coach Martin?
We just went ahead and went straight in to what they run, practicing against it.
100%. Now, same question to you. What else did y'all focus on besides the game plan in the Piedmont? Like, you know, everybody kind of turns inward. Like, what is Ohatchee going to do to make Ohatchee better?
Well, we was working on like getting everybody, all the bumps and dings, getting all that cleared up and recovering and just making sure we're ready and getting a little conditioning in and stuff like that.
Is everybody healed up now at this point? Y'all
There's no way of knowing. Ohatchee, they have a problem telling the coaching staff if they're hurt.
That's a true story.
Yeah.
Now, it's game week. I'm going to let you answer this one. How has your preparation changed from that off week over into game week? Because now, quote unquote, the bullets will be flying here in a couple of days, 4 days from now, from when we're filming.
Just doing what we do. Just being physical.
Yeah.
Doing what coach should do.
I think y'all got that down, Pat. Mm-hmm. Have any of you guys had coffee with Coach Martin on his deck yet?
Called what?
Had coffee.
Oh, coffee, no. We ain't never been invited.
What?
No. Only time we get invited is on during the summer. We sometimes, we didn't have one this year, but past years we'll go over there after taking pictures during the summer and have a little fun and it's on boats.
Mm-hmm. I like it. I like it. This is going to be, you guys have a tremendous opportunity. You're going to be playing the number one team in the state. We'll start right here with Aiden. What does that mean for you, knowing your senior year, you're getting to play the number one team in the state and, better high school, but it is, cross county rivalry?
Well, I know we always try to, play our best against them, and I know they're really good, and their receivers are really good too. So I just hope everybody on defense locks up.
Coach Mark said that every year since he's been here, he's played Piedmont in some shape, form, or fashion. Mm-hmm. So y'all, this is nothing new. Y'all see Piedmont every year. Yeah. Y'all are not gonna claim COVID and back out.
No.
This is game week. It's on now. Time to pop some pads.
We gotta talk hair.
You got to.
Aiden has his hat on, man. We can't discuss football.
I do like the hat.
All three of these guys are here vying for a high seeds in a hair tournament. Yeah. We're doing a hair tournament like the 64 field basketball tournament. These guys, just when you think the next team we've seen can't be topped, then we get these guys.
Greg.
You got mullets with lines in it.
I love the lines, man.
He's got kind of a Colombian cartel meets mullet.
Yeah.
This is natural.
This is a shape.
What's funny is people don't even know. People don't have a clue about Aiden's hair.
Yeah.
But when he unleashes the Kraken, it's over with.
Hey, you got to come on Monday and have your hair down.
You don't ever wear it down.
Have you seen Aiden Man Bun? Can we go Aiden Man Bun one?
Yeah, we can go.
We can go Man Bun. Let's do that.
Nice.
I don't want to put this out there as a challenge or anything. We had a Springville guy say he's going to do some cornrows for us. So.
Dude, Aiden would look. Yeah.
Let's do it.
Who can do it?
Oh,
Hey, if anybody's watching this, you know how to do cornrows. Hook my man Aiden.
Oh, man. That would be beast, dude. He'd look like the Predator.
Yeah.
Aiden would look like the Predator with that helmet on, dude. You kidding me?
Oh, God.
We'll talk about football one day, but right now. Let's get it back to football. We're playing the number one team in the state. We're over here talking about turning Aiden to the Predator. That's what makes average Joe special. Nah, for real. Here we go. So back to you guys. I asked you, Aiden, what it meant to play. What does it mean for you, both of you two guys, to play number one team in state? Could shock the state with this win.
I mean, it gets me going. I mean, I know we've played them in the past, but I mean, it's my senior year and it's the last time, and I think playing these teams during the regular season also could get you prepared for being better later on and possibly into the playoffs and stuff.
100%.
Now, then, what he said about playing these good teams and he's ready for the playoffs.
Absolutely. And you guys got to go to the Field of Champions, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Where else would you want to play them at? I mean, you want to be well. To me, when we played in school, I always liked going to road games.
It makes you feel like you're taking
It's
on
you
the
against the
whole
world.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Yeah.
You pull up in somebody else's stadium, you getting booed. Back when I went to school, it was throwing stuff at our bus, shaking it. I don't know if they still do that. I can't vouch for it, but it was like you take on this me versus the world mentality. It made us play better, honestly. It did. Like I said, like you guys said, y'all play them year in, year out. Y'all are one of the few teams around that don't fear them. And I mean, the style of offense and the physicality y'all play, I think y'all line up good against them. It's going to be a really, really interesting game.
Yeah.
So we're going to have some Joe, at least one Joe, if not two or three Joes out there. At least two Joes out there. I'm actually coming the second half, so I'll be there myself. For the first time, I'll be on Ohatchee sidelines. I haven't been on Ohatchee sidelines yet, so I'll be there myself, probably second half of that game. Does anybody else got anything?
We'll leave it with this. You know what they say about Ohatchee?
They hit you.
They hit you.
That's right.
Credit goes to Missy Starkey.
Guys, we're going to shut this one down. So glad having you on, and on to our next. All right, our next game is going to bring us into the Oxford Yellowjackets. They actually had a tremendous win last week versus a very hot Gadsden City team, 49-14. I got Reggie sitting in beside me. He's not a happy camper right now.
Hey, Coach Wagner.
Hey, how's it going?
We have Coach Wagner on the Jarvis Rawls, Ronnie Watkins Ford hotline again. As always, thank you for coming on, Coach. I want to start off right off the bat, something we talked about on the Etheridge show when you came on, the fast starts you guys have. And last Friday was no different. Talk about how you came out of the gate and executed so good, so fast once again.
Well, I think it all started with a big stop by defense, and they're the ones really playing well right now also. So that was huge. And then we had a couple things that we had liked. We saw on film we liked, and we executed them well. And we had Traquan at running back, and so anytime you put the ball in a guy like Traquan's hands, you got a good chance of scoring early, and that's what happened.
Absolutely. Coach, and another thing, we talked about this as well when you guys come on, and I talked to Coach Cochran about it. I said, how do you guys dabble up where you put Traquan? And you got so many talented guys that can play on both sides of the ball. And the number one message he had is, well, above all else, instead of fighting with Coach Wagner, we want to win. So talk about that and how these guys are selfless and don't mind swapping over to both sides of the ball like that to get the job done.
Well, in high school, you're not blessed with every position being full of dynamic playmakers. And Traquan's probably one of the most, if not the most dynamic playmaker in the nation. And, if he played running back, he'd be the best running back in the nation. So that's the thing. What we're trying to do is we're trying to get the most out of him we can without hurting him on either side of the ball. And, Rod Elston's another guy that comes in and plays running back and does a great job. I think between Rod Elston and Traquan Fagans at running back against Gadsden City, I think they had 8 carries for like 114 yards, which is like 14 yards a carry, and 2 touchdowns. So, 8 carries is not huge, but the impact they make when they're in there is huge, and it helped us out Friday night. Ron Taylor he had another great game, and see, when you have a guy like Ron Taylor out there, it opens up so many other things, just him being out.
And then Britt's playing at a level, I mean, like everybody, you got Rock and Traquan and all these guys, COC, but Britt's quietly averaging about 100 yards a game himself out there.
Warren's done a great job, and he's grown up so much this year. And,
he may be as tough a mismatch just with his speed as anybody. So, and that's the thing. That's what makes our offense go. He's been able to spread the ball and be able to punch in so many different ways, and that's what I'm proud of. It's not just one thing we do. You can't go into a game plan with us and take away one thing and expect to be successful. And with Trey, playing at the level he is right now, it's wide open.
100%. I'm sorry. The guy who's probably might be the front runner for Mr. Football. I forgot to mention him. My bad. Yeah, that just shows what kind of team you guys got. But Coach, I got a serious question. Going into an off week like this, I know you may have a few nicks and bruises you want to get healed up, but other than that, what are the things offensively you're looking to do to move this team forward and going into an off week?
What we're going to do is we're going to do a little self-scout. We're going to kind of look at where we at, what we've done so far that we've really been successful at, and try to build on those things, and then kind of look at the things that where we're lacking in one areas, and then we're going to try to improve those and try to get everything, max our potential on offense and do the best we can do. And so that's kind of what you go into off week doing. You usually self-scout yourself, make sure you don't have any tendencies. If you do have tendencies, then that's okay. You can always kind of switch those tendencies around and kind of work on the things that you're lacking on and try to get better. That's what we're trying to go this week do.
To the best of my knowledge, you've been the most healthy you've been all season going into this off week, so that's got to be huge in general.
Yeah, I think right now we're really good as far as health-wise. Again, a game like Gaston, there's some bumps and bruises, so it'll be good for our guys to get a chance to maybe do a little bit healthier. But as far as injury-wise, we're pretty good.
Coach, as always, it's a pleasure. Congratulations on the big win. I know you guys get an off week, and we will be having you on again soon. Thank you so much.
Hey, man, I appreciate y'all having me on. Y'all do a great job, and I appreciate what y'all do.
Thank you so much, sir. We will talk to you later, Coach. All right, our next game is going to bring in the Piedmont Bulldogs versus the Ohatchee Indians. Now, you want to talk about a massive matchup with playoff implications, bragging rights, county, rivalry. This is, without a doubt, one of the biggest games in the state, 1 through 7A this week. For Piedmont, on Piedmont's side of the ball, when you look at this matchup, Kevin, they're very familiar with this opponent. Ever since Scott Martin has been there, in some shape, form, or fashion, albeit maybe Jamboree, they've played Piedmont in some shape, form, or fashion, even when they dropped to 2A. So they're familiar with each other. Scott Martin said this best, and this is hilarious. He said something was brought up with him and Steve was talking. They said something like, "Hey, you got an off week before me, right?" So Ohatchee's been off. And Coach Martin said, "Hey, it ain't helped me in the past. I don't know why I would start now, But Piedmont had anything but an off week last week. Let's go into that game before we move forward. They get, had cancellation in Jacksonville, and they call around, can't find a game, and end up getting 7A Grissom to come to the Field of Champions and beat them. We're talking about Grissom with D1 guys. Kevin, you've been watching football a long time. When's the last time you seen a coach in a program get a phone call on a Wednesday on 4 classifications up, respectable team, this ain't some pushover, and go and win that game on Friday from 4 classifications up?
When I first saw you guys post that on Facebook about the schedule, I first thought, well, behind the scenes, without it being on social media, they probably got this together. And it's just me assuming. You know what happens when you assume? I just assume that Jacksonville might be forfeited earlier, like Sunday or Monday, and they got this game together real quick. But no, you're right. I mean, it was actually Wednesday. When I saw it, I thought, man, today's Wednesday and the game's 48 hours. How have they had time to look at the offensive and defensive formations? But it's like, football, Steve Smith, that's why he's one of the masters of the game. It's about blocking, tackling, executing. And, and it doesn't matter what Grissom does, it's about what Piedmont does. Right. And I know there's some people out there that don't like Piedmont, but you got to give them credit and respect. I know Grissom's not one of the best 7A teams out there, but you're still talking 4 classifications up. And Grissom, I'm sure, probably brought about 85 or 90 players.
Oh, yeah.
And Piedmont's has maybe 60?
I don't think they got that many.
Yeah, but still, be a 3A school. I mean,
that's crazy.
You can't, and plus two, and it was Piedmont's homecoming, so I know they wanted to find an opponent to kind of get this, you know, for the seniors and everything. But you got to give them credit. I mean,
so
they did it.
Steve said on the Steve Smith show, he said he put in tape and was trying to watch it Wednesday night, and he'd doze off and he'd wake up and be in the second quarter. He said, I really didn't get nothing done. So technically, it's Thursday before the coaches watch the film and implement some sort of game plan to play the next day.
Unbelievable.
Bro.
It's impressive.
And like I said, Grissom, they're not Hoover, but they're a respectable 7A team out of Huntsville, dude. And to win that game,
and you got to.
I put a post. I said, "Hey, kudos to Grissom and people taking this game and then playing this game."
Because Grissom, it's sort of like, you know, you're a senior in high school, and you're gonna play your brother in backyard basketball, and he's like in 6th or 7th grade.
Yeah.
You know, he may be talented. You should win, but if he beats you, little brother beats you. And I'm not saying Piedmont's little brother. I'm just talking about the difference in size of the schools.
4 classifications up with basically a day
because Grissom
and a quarter to prepare.
That was very courageous on Grissom's part to even schedule the game.
And then, hey, as that game rolled on, and I watched some film on it, Piedmont had become the hammer. They were hammering.
I'll say this, Piedmont, I don't think people realize how physical they are.
Dude, they look at Jack and they see
you in the face.
They look at Jack and they see the passes and SDs these guys run. Bro, these guys are they're. Have y'all seen the Foster brothers? Like these dudes can go and they're physical.
Yes.
Up front, they're physical on both sides of the ball. All right. Elijah runs downhill on people. These dudes are big physical football team. Jack Hayes running guys over in the one. Did you see that on Facebook?
I don't know. It's crazy.
Sound like a shotgun going off.
And I love that style. I love that style of football. It's just, to me, it's a little bit.
I mean, Hayes and Piedmont, those two names are just fancy numbers.
Let's line it up. Let's win in the trenches, and that's what they did.
It is, and I'm gonna tell you something, man. This is going to be a fun game. I mean, this is a unique. We call it the ugly offense. I think everybody in the state calls it the ugly offense. Deemed the name by Benefield calls it the ugly offense, but same offense that Fyffe runs, Ohatchee runs. Very effective offense. It's a downhill physical offense. They play physical defense. Piedmont plays physical offense. Piedmont plays physical defense. If you want to see trade and paint, pads popping, good old-fashioned football, like getting after each other, go to the Field of Champions on Friday night because this is going to be a war and it's going to be fun.
And both coaches probably blood pressure got me saying this, but because there's a lot of games left. But this game's for the region championship.
Wellborn's still undefeated.
Well, that's true, but
they could kick a 3-way tie.
Because Wellborn beat Ohatchee because they're. I forgot about that.
Wellborn. I mean, it could get dicey. You know, it could get if you know Ohatchee was to beat Piedmont and then Piedmont Piedmont was to beat Wellborn, it'd be a 3-way tie.
That'd be a screwed up region.
Yeah, so Wellborn's still out there. Somebody's gonna have to beat them. But here's the deal. Steve Smith always says it best. The most important games of that game were right in front of us.
That's right.
And when he played Glencoe this year, and Tara said something to him, he said, the most important game is right down 278 in Glencoe. He's right. But here's the deal. If you want to watch a great game, be at the Field of Champions Friday night.
And I got a question.
I'm actually going there when I leave from the mountain. I'm headed there to watch the second half.
I've always admired what Steve Smith did, what he does, and the way he runs his program. I mean, he goes to the youth league games and he sees these guys playing 8, 9, 10-year-old and who's going to be running back and everything. But I got a question. What's the deal with the mullet? Is he copying Gundy from Oklahoma?
No. He had a bet if his team would win the state last year, he would grow a mullet. So I'm telling you, dude, in his interview, when we asked him that, he goes, his answer is glorious. He goes, an opportunity to grow a mullet. It's a win-win for me either way. So. And I was like,
win-win.
I think I've always wondered, because like I said, I don't know what you guys are.
Is he going to get an IROC? Or? That's it. We're going to shut this one down. Move on to the next. All right, next up we have the Southside Panthers who's coming off a big win versus Sardis 49-7. And I'm going to let these guys introduce themselves.
I'm Jacob Strunk.
What position you in?
Center. I'm Maddox Parsons.
I play safety.
Brody Johnson, I play safety.
Spencer Sharp, linebacker.
All right, we're going to let each one of you guys answer this. Last week, you guys needed a big win after that loss. Very gut-wrenching loss you guys had the week before. What was Coach's message in practice last week, Coach Nelson's message in practice last week leading up to that Sardis game? We'll start right here.
Just play hard, play physical. Can't ever. You just gotta always prepare for next week. Go 1-0 every week.
100%.
Just the same thing he said. Just go 1-0 each week. Just worry about 1 week at a time.
Love it.
Yeah, Coach, I mean, he told us, he's like, y'all can't worry about what's happening in the last week. He's like, that's done. Y'all can't change it. He's like, we just got to worry about moving on and the games ahead and winning them.
Yeah, he's just mainly focused on executing everything offensive, defensively. So we just go 1-0 every week and keep progressing every week.
When that game started, you guys jumped out early and kick-started everything. You said you played center, is that correct? So, I mean, offensively, what was you guys seeing from them that y'all were executing so well on? Because usually, in the past, I know Gene Hill, he's had some COVID issues this season, but he's usually a defensive genius. But y'all was exploiting that somehow.
So that week, I actually started at right guard.
Okay.
And we came out and had some good bangs. We fumbled the bag, made some big errors, and
I know Mr. Rich gets time. He's pretty deadly back there. Y'all gave him some time this time, right? Yeah. So defensively, any of you guys can take this. You guys were playing lights out as well, because I mean, at one point they didn't score 7 until late in the second half, correct?
Yeah, late third quarter.
I was gonna say, yeah. You guys probably had your starters from the bench then?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So defensively, what were you guys? How was y'all able to execute like you did against them?
We had good pass rush from our defensive line and our 2 inside linebackers. Held the box really good, and then we changed our defense in the secondary, so it worked really well.
Bro, you had some pretty monstrous hits this year, huh?
I try.
Yeah, we checked them out actually. I had one sent to me, and then we went and looked at it. I know you was a great athlete. You was actually quarterback on my son's team back then. When did you swap over and become Ronnie Lott or Ed Reed in this generation? Sorry about that.
I guess at the end of 9th grade. Michael was, obviously a quarterback, and I was looking to get some more playing time moving ahead, and I like to hit more than anything. So I talked with coaches, and they thought it'd be a good fit to move me defense.
What's it like getting coached by Scoop?
It's hard. He rides us, he does, but he's a good coach.
Absolutely. He's I like him because he's fair. He's usually pretty spot on the way he coaches, and he coaches everybody the same. It don't matter if you're a superstar or you're not a superstar.
I'm on the other side of the ball. I still get yelled at.
I love that shrapnel. That's right. Yeah, there you go. Right here, I'm going to ask you a question. Coach Nelson's been there now. He's changed the entire culture. To me, I don't know one person in or around the county that's had anything negative to say about him, from his coaching, from his personality, anything. What has he meant for you in your life and, in the overall team, from your perspective?
He came in and changed, and but I mean, I don't know. He just came in to change it, and he knew what he was doing. He knew what he was talking about, and he made it where we could believe to buy in. And since we bought in, we've all accepted it. We like him. We all love him. There's not a player on our team that dislikes him. He's fair. He knows what he's doing.
100%.
A little bit behind the scenes here, but Bo here went and interviewed him down in Montgomery, right?
Yeah. And
on the way back, he sent a message and said, "Hey, Southside made themselves a great hire."
Yeah.
And the more I watched and spoke with him, I believe it.
Yeah, I mean, you guys were in some games earlier this year, and we talked about this on the show, where in games in the past when it could go either way or the chips was really down, usually that 14-0 in Hokes Bluff would have ballooned out to 21 or 28-0. But now, you guys planted your feet, started fighting back, come back and scrap down, won a dirty, grimy game in the mud. And in the past, you guys have probably lost that game, honestly. So I think he's definitely changed the culture. But now you guys have Springville coming up. I'm going to ask each one of you this question. What have you seen? Have you got to watch film on Springville yet? Nothing? Y'all don't know anything about them?
I know.
We know their formations they run
Yeah.
on offense. We did a lot of that today.
Gotcha.
We haven't really watched a lot of film.
Coaches watched it and come in and said,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What are some of the things he's preaching that they do well?
Well, they throw the ball really well. Their quarterback's a good athlete, and like most of their offense is deep balls or quarterback runs or like powers. So it's going to be a lot on run defense and like containing the quarterback and playing the deep ball really well.
Springville's usually a very athletic team, year in, year out, no doubt. Same question to you.
We haven't had any film work yet, so I guess personally I haven't made my like decision on.
You ain't targeted somebody else.
Yeah, I guess.
This dude is going to pay the piper today.
There he is.
There he is. He's not Waterboy. There he is.
But we've done our field work and set up our coverages the way the coaches think will best suit us and put the game in our favor. And like Spencer said, they throw the ball and their quarterback can run. He's a dual threat, and they got a pretty good running back, so they run a lot of power. So if our D line can hold up against them and stop the run, then it can take stress off the DBs to cover up the pass.
100%.
Basically what they said, they really like to throw the ball. Their quarterback, he likes to run. They like to run the counters. They like to have like a heavy formation and run a counter with the quarterback. It's going to be a hard game, but
Gotcha. All right, defensively, what have you seen from those guys, or what did y'all implement today?
Well, they got some pretty decently sized players on both sides of the ball, but just formationally wise, going over, like when he came in, he brought an offense that best fit us.
Right.
So when we kind of formed around and like glued to it, and we're pretty good about making changes on the fly,
No doubt.
according to formations.
He's pretty good about yeah, he's pretty good about coaching on the fly in general. He's an absolutely game changer as a head coach, I think.
As a center, do you prefer the shotgun or under center?
Well, it's a little bit more nerve-wracking back there in shotgun.
Yeah.
But
especially if it's raining, huh?
But I think it opens up more plays, so probably shotgun.
Yeah.
Michael Rich about 7 foot tall, so he's
So you got a little wide range, you can tell. Yeah.
He's 7 foot tall, he can see over everybody. Well, guys, I appreciate you guys coming in and sitting in with us. We've enjoyed every bit of it. Love to have you guys back on sometime. So you guys just keep doing what you're doing, stay positive, keep rolling along, let's make the playoffs.
So,
on to our next. We are here with Spring Garden. So glad to have you guys on. We hadn't ever had you on before, but no time is better than the present. Guys, you guys have had a really good program for a while now. We've noticed you guys come up, and I remember going out there last year and talking with your principal, and he's talking about how special this group was he had and the one coming up. But
Had a good basketball team back in '99.
They got a hold of Gaston, didn't they, Josh? Before we go any further, I want to let you guys introduce yourselves.
Weston Kirk.
What positions do you play both?
Running back and defensive end.
Cooper Austin, wide receiver, defensive back. Riley Kirk, quarterback, safety.
Luke Welsh, fullback, linebacker.
Luke looks like he's about to step outside.
I know.
I forget that.
Are you going to square with anybody?
Yeah.
This one right here.
Yeah, I'm feeling it. Josh, talk about the haircuts before we get started.
I ain't gonna say nothing.
Kind of self-explanatory. I dig it.
And but we do have we'll go ahead and let's.
They're brothers too, by the way.
I figured that.
No, we're first cousins.
First cousins.
Our dads are brothers.
Now, what are you gonna do? What do you got coming up for the hair?
Yeah.
I'm gonna probably get some cornrows.
Yes.
And he's going to come back on the show when he gets that done.
Yes.
He's going to get one seed in the hair tournament. There's no doubt in my mind.
What I get if I win?
Oh, you're going to get a trophy.
Hair product for life.
Hair products, trophies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Average Joe's hair product.
We're going to talk about football in a minute. We just got to keep. No, I'm just kidding. No, but hey, you guys had a special season last season and are rolling this season. Let's start right here. Talk about what's happened with this group of guys y'all had on this recent run. Just to get our fans who hadn't got to meet you guys or talk to you guys yet. What's been going on? What's caused this run? I know y'all probably played ball together for years. What's caused this to get to the level it's at now?
We just pretty much our school. It ain't never been like a big football school. Like it ain't never just been something that a lot of people just like hear of. Like, oh, Spring Garden, their football school, and like we just saw last year, and we kind of just really just wanted to change that for everybody. We just wanted to be known as our last year here to be known and go down as okay. That was a great football team.
100%.
Laying the foundation.
Laying the foundation. Same question to you, like just through your eyes.
I think it's had a lot to do with the athletes taking it into their own hands and as small groups going up to the weight room on their own time and working out and up to the field on their own time and doing the small things by themselves without the coach and just getting better by themselves.
Speaking of the coach, who's your parents?
Ricky Austin and Dan Austin.
People around average Joe's community knows exactly who that is.
Yeah, if you know Spring Garden basketball, you know exactly who they are.
All right. Same question.
Definitely hard work. I mean, I feel like we have to outwork everyone, so hard work.
Absolutely.
We bumped up to 2A this year. That's sort of a challenge, more than any challenge it's been. Past couple of years, our goal was, win region championship and stuff. We ain't ever done that before. And then we bumped up to 2A, and, that just ups the ante, win a region championship, and maybe, everybody's goal win a state championship, 2A, but I mean, that just...
Everything's still in front of you.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Oh, yeah. Yes,
even the region.
Yes, sir.
Glad you brought that up about moving up to 2A. That's going to bring up my next question. Have y'all seen much of a difference in competition from 1A to 2A, or is it about the same?
Numbers. Like people we play more teams that they don't play both sides of the ball. Mm-hmm. And we're big on conditioning. We was big on conditioning when we was 1A, but really big on conditioning now since a lot of us play both ways, and a lot of teams would play, not the whole 11 plays both ways, and that's just really the biggest difference I've seen, moving from 1A to 2A. We've played some 2A teams the past couple of years, and we had an idea of what it was going to be like, but like I said, team numbers is the big thing I've noticed.
Well, looking at your record, though, y'all are handling everything pretty well.
One game that just jumped out at us is y'all played West End, which was just rolling. They was beating people to death, and then all of a sudden, you guys hung 60 on them and held them scoreless. Let's go back, rewind the clock to that game. What was that like? Because Eli Pierce, I believe, was coming off the Player of the Week for that year's show.
I think he was.
And y'all was probably watching that saying, well.
I kept thinking my score stream map was broke.
I did too. I was like, that could.
What was it like? Take that for example. What was
West End, they was putting up some points, and I think our first drive, Cooper might actually picked them off, and from then on, I think we got the ball, and then we scored. So then the momentum just got in our favor. So we just kept on scoring. We got rolling.
Now, Josh, cover your ears for a second. Now, y'all are playing Gaston this week. Josh is class of '99 Gaston. He tells everybody that comes on the show. He says he's got 1 more year eligibility. I don't know if that's true or not.
I'm waiting.
Gaston's struggling this week. You guys had a tough game last week against Hokes Bluff, but really, again, everything's in front of you. Region championship, state championship, playoff berth. Talk about your mindset going into this Gaston game this week.
It's pretty much to focus on ourselves, get in there and get what we need to get done and prepare, just be ready.
What about offensively? What are you guys looking to do, Cooper?
Well, I think that this past week our offense didn't play as good as we have been all year, and line didn't play good. The skill receivers didn't play as good as we could have, but I think that this week is, like Weston said about us, and getting better and getting back on our standard of winning that region championship.
100%. You're the quarterback, so you got to make things tick. Offensively, what are you looking to do this week? We
got to play them just like any other teams. There's still just a chance that we can lose just like any other team. So you got to give them credit too. So we just got to, play our game, and then we should be good.
Absolutely. Are all you guys multi-sport athletes? What do you play, wrestling?
He wrestles cows.
Hey, what?
He wrestles cows.
Oh, do you? You rodeo?
No.
You box?
No, I don't.
If it was available, would you?
I probably would. I didn't know what I was right there.
Nah, but y'all all play multi-sport.
Yes.
As a Gaston alum, I'm gonna need to see some birth certificates. We got a full beard over here. And his mustache is.
That's Kyle Duke's ass.
Yeah.
That is Kyle Duke's
It's
head.
Kyle
We got
Duke's.
to put him and Kyle Duke's head to head on the
We'll make that. Y'all know Kyle Dukes from Fyffe? He's Fyffe's tailback this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got the same mustache. A little bit different hair. A little bit different hair.
Yeah. You might see Dukes in the
Let me
hair bracket.
I'm gonna ask you guys. We're out of time, but I'm gonna go ahead and ask you. We got a minute or so here. Out of you guys, who's the class clown? Is there no doubt?
I don't know. It's definitely one of them two. Gotta be.
Who's the funniest?
Probably Luke.
Probably Luke.
Pretty chill and quiet.
Does Luke turn into Charlie Twitter off of Varsity Blues?
Yeah.
He does.
Yeah, he does.
I knew it. He's saying that. I like these guys, bro.
That lad gave it away.
I like these guys, man.
Can we get an extension on
I'm so glad we got these dudes together, man.
We got
We didn't have 50 people.
man.
No, yeah, for sure. If we didn't have 50 people out there, we just do a whole hour segment right here.
I know.
Before we shut it down, we appreciate you guys coming in. Been an absolute blast. Make sure you get all the food you can eat, your shirts. And if it's cool with y'all, we want to have y'all guys back in. Y'all can rotate guys, whatever, make it fair to whoever, or y'all just come on dominate every week. We just finished this segment. And as this hair progresses, bro, you got to keep us. You got to.
Yeah.
Y'all got anything?
Keep us up there.
I'll mix it up.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
I like it.
Hey, one of us sneak out there one Friday or something. Y'all have any Thursday games?
I don't think we'll do the rest of the season.
Okay. One of us try to sneak out that way. Technically, Tara does Piedmont, so she might could, but even if she don't, if we're in the area, one of us could sneak out there. Yeah, for sure. Guys, appreciate you coming on. Looking forward to having you again. And we'll be covering y'all on basketball. We'll check in with us.
Sir.
Thank you guys.
for having us. Thank you.
Absolutely. All right, our next game is going to bring us in West End Patriots. They're coming off a big victory versus Appalachian 41-16. But before we dive into that game, we're going to let everyone introduce themselves, starting with Coach.
Coach John Mark Mintz, defense coordinator at Weston.
I'm Jake Edwards.
I'm Hunter Tucker.
Coach, I'm going to start with you. I was at the Cleveland game, and unfortunately we seen what happened to Eli and the situation you guys had there. Y'all were in the middle of a shootout in that game, and kind of was a big blow to the team. But since that time, you reeled off 2 consecutive wins. But your defense definitely looks like they picked up the pace a little bit. Looks like everybody's kind of contributing, really, honestly. Because the week before last was 55-20, and then last week 41-16. Talk about the play specifically since you coached that area of the team, the defense, and how they kind of stepped up since then.
Well, we've just got a good group of seniors is the main thing, and we've just been able to kind of plug people where we need them. I mean, Hunter Tucker's played middle linebacker for us for two years at least since I've been there. And then this week against Appalachian, we kind of needed a better defensive front, so we kind of went to a 5 front, put him at end. And overall, we've had a great group of kids that are just willing to kind of help and be a part wherever they can't help. So there's a lot of moving around that goes on, but it's just kind of piecing puzzles together.
And you two guys, are you guys both seniors?
I'm a junior.
Junior, okay. We'll start right over here, you being a senior. What's it meant to you to have such this senior year of COVID and injuries, and it's just been like chaotic, but yet you guys pulled it together and still have everything in front of you?
I mean, I think it shows the toughness of the seniors that we do have still left on us, and just not just seniors, just the team in general, that we can pull together the team at the time with what we have and win.
Absolutely. And a question for you is, having somebody like Eli go down, but you guys still piece it together and you put up 50-something points one week, 40-something the next week. What has it meant, like offensively, for you guys to keep doing what you're doing under Coach Davis? I mean, y'all plugged and played and moved positions, and I mean, y'all have done some remarkable stuff to put up that many points in the last. Put up 90 points in 2 weeks without Eli Pierce.
Yeah.
Well, did you find yourself just floating above your body?
We'll come back to you. Let me go back over here to Coach. Coach, this week you have an undefeated Westbrook team that comes in. Really good football team. I know you've probably broke down film. I don't know if you gave it to the guys, but what have you seen from that group of guys and the challenges they present?
Well, they've got a lot of kids. Is the first issue. They've got more depth than us, obviously, but they're extremely well coached, and they've got a lot of good players in key positions. They've got a good wide receiver. Coach Noel's son's a great quarterback. I mean, they've got a lot of different pieces that work very well together for them, and they use them very well too. They do a lot of things with their alignments. That's really what we've been focusing on today when we broke down film, was just different formations. I think I broke down 4 games and came up with close to 60 different formations I came out with.
What?
So, I mean,
are you serious?
You just gotta learn. I mean, and that's counting now. Running back left side, running back right side, just any change. But yeah, I mean, they've got a lot of different formations. So I mean, it's just a lot to kind of look at. And
they still have Carmichael Captain, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're still got some dudes over there.
Oh yeah, they got some players, and they got some speed out wide, and their running backs really. I think he's younger.
He was the number 6 last year, I believe. I can't remember if he's changed numbers.
Yeah, I think yeah.
Yeah, he's a really
But
good.
he's very fast, and he runs extremely hard.
Yeah,
so I mean, he's a good guy. He's a good player for sure.
No doubt. What have you guys got to watch film on him as well?
Yeah, we watched it today, and we can watch it anytime.
Absolutely. Like from your position, what did you see? Some of the things that you got to specifically hone in on this week?
When we go to our 5 front, I go out to the left side, and I'll be over number 77, probably their best lineman. So I know I gotta work my technique more this week, and gotta just push everything back in to make my teammates make the tackle.
No doubt. Offensively, you ready to talk to me, brother?
Yes, sir.
Now, offensively, I mean, what do you guys got to do? Something maybe you've seen on them they do defensively to execute. I like this guy.
You just don't want to give anything away.
Too many secrets.
Is that what it is? You don't want to give anything away?
I hadn't really watched defense that much. I've been
You've been watching
their offense.
I got you.
Okay.
That makes sense.
We break down their offense on Monday. I'll do my part, and tomorrow Coach Davis will do the defense, and we'll go watch film defensively.
Right. You just said something that reminded me that, and then this will date me a little bit, but now with Huddle, you can watch film at any time, right?
Yeah.
At home. Do you watch a lot of film, or do you kind of, watch it once or twice and have a pretty good idea?
I usually watch it a couple hours on Sunday after we go and watch film at the school of our last game. And I watch it every now and then when I have a free class or sometime during this week. So
You actually take it serious.
I use my resources.
You'd be surprised. A lot of people don't, even though they got that.
Well, it's easy now too. I mean, you can watch them on your phone now.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember having to load in the DVDs when I was in high school.
I remember coaches. You remember this? Like, even your
VHS
dad used to have to drive and hand off VHS.
Oh, my dad did that. I know he did it still my senior year.
Yeah.
Handing out DVDs for sure.
Well, I remember they used to drive the VHS.
Oh yeah. But I remember taking the DVD to re-upload it to Huddle.
Ain't that crazy?
Because everybody didn't have it,
I think it's
when
crazy
they first
that
come
you have
out.
to drive in Montgomery.
Oh, that's
the craziest thing.
That's the worst part about making the playoffs for sure.
We'll talk about that when the camera gets shut off here in a minute. I'll tell you what a famous coach said around here. But moving forward, Coach, I want to ask you this. What do you got to have out of your group? From now, it's kind of swapped because coming into the season, we thought, in the last couple of seasons, we thought, hey, we're playing West End, we're going to have to score 50 to beat them, but we're going to have to outscore them now. Even before Eli's injury, you guys had stepped up and started playing better defense. What do you got to have out of this group to make this last run and get into the playoffs?
First thing and most important thing is we got to keep our guys healthy. We've been very fortunate. We've got a lot of great guys, great players, and great kids too. But this year's been kind of rough on us. We've had I've lost my starting free safety to an ACL surgery. Obviously, we lost Eli to ACL. Sam Smith, lost him to an ACL before the season even started. He would have played probably both ways. Maybe would have started defensively for us too. and then Rockman was kind of our fill-in guy, outside, inside linebacker. Anywhere I needed him, kind of, a spell player, but a lot of plays broke his collarbone. So, I mean, main thing's healthy. And, I mean, that's all injuries amidst the COVID era. So, I mean, obviously we want to avoid that as well. But, I mean, I feel like as long as we've got, our core group of guys, we got a chance. I mean, we've got a great group of guys. We just got to keep them healthy.
Coach, I appreciate you guys coming on. It means the world for you guys to come on with us. And we got our brand new Western helmet here. It's beautiful.
Yes.
All the way from Grove, Alabama.
I love that.
I do too. I love that.
Sharp.
Good luck for you guys moving forward this week, and we're looking forward to having you guys on.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it. Appreciate all you do for us.
100%. On to our next.